a level of promiscuity I can't imagine. Why would you expose all of that?
I think what's important is, if you're going to be truthful, you can't be partially truthful. And also is to not only help explain how I got to this horrible place, but to teach a better, I think a bigger lesson about, as I said to Alan, about living a healthy, integrated life.
That was former New Jersey Governor Jim McGreevey on our show just about a year ago, and I asked him about the issue that many see as the center of the Senator Craig scandal, the practice of sex in public places. Joining us now is Fort Lauderdale Mayor Jim Naugle is with us. He's fighting to stop these lewd acts from going on. First of all, thank you for being with us. What is happening? Because you've made some very controversial statements. Particularly, you've mentioned the gay community, saying you won't call gays homosexual or gay because they're not happy, they're unhappy. What has been going on in Fort Lauderdale that has led you to take on this issue?
Well, sure. Back in July in Florida, there was a state representative that was arrested soliciting a police officer in a public restroom. And though the local papers didn't mention anything about it, the Central Florida newspaper, Florida Today, said that there were gay tourist cruising guides that this person had been attracted to the park. Well, after learning about that, I went to that website and I found that my main children's park in Fort Lauderdale was listed as a place where men could meet to have sex with men.
You know,
after that, I put my foot down.
I've had a lot of truck drivers call my radio show in the last 2 days saying, you have no idea, Mr. Hannity, how widespread this issue of sex in public places are. I've had cops write me and law enforcement officials writing me, telling me that it's not just the Minneapolis airport, but airports and airport bathrooms all around the country are experiencing this. Parks, it's like a culture of anonymous sex. Is it really that widespread, sir?
Well, I think we have to be careful. Many homosexuals do not approve of this practice. So
I'm just talking about anonymous sex. Forget gay or straight here. I want to know, is
right.
Anonymous sex in public places, meet up with strangers, and just have that type of contact. How common is this?
Apparently, it's happening all over the country, and many police officers want to do something about it, but they're afraid of being accused of going after just the homosexual community. So I think the important thing is around the nation, ask someone in law enforcement to identify where those sites are in your community.
All right, let me ask you this.
Report it to the police. They report it to the police, and they will make arrests.
You apparently had, I guess it was a public meeting or a town hall meeting or something. You had a lot of speakers there. One of the speakers says, I don't want to see God destroy America in the way he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, calling it an abomination, etc. It seemed to target the gay community. Is this strictly in Fort Lauderdale, in your mind, a gay issue, or are heterosexuals conducting themselves this way?
Well, the particular problem with the public places in the parks, it is men having sex with men, and whether, I guess we could argue if they're heterosexual, or to me, if they're having sex with men, they're not heterosexual, but it has been a problem, and it's something that I'm going to clean up in Fort Lauderdale.
Mr. Mayor, I want to follow up on Sean's question, because in the news conference he referenced, it was a Reverend Neil Dozier of the Pompano Beach Worldwide Christian Center who said the comment that Sean referenced, and he did it in front of a banner saying, Naugle is right, meaning you're right, and he said about gays destroying America, making this into a Sodom and Gomorrah. Do you agree with his sentiments?
Well, you know, the pastor is a deeply religious man. He actually is a former NFL football player, and he has wonderful religious beliefs. As mayor, I'm approaching the problem from a public health standpoint and stopping the illegal activity.
But do you agree with the pastor who said that? Do you agree with them?
I agree that my faith tells me that homosexuality is a sin, but I always feel that you should love the sinner and hate the sin, and I truly have affection for the residents of our... Okay.
We're just out of time tonight. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate your time tonight. And it's yet another Clinton campaign fiasco, as one of Hillary's biggest donors is under fire. Is it shades of 1996? There is late-breaking developments tonight. We'll have all the details for you and much, much more straight ahead.